Hey, what's going on? It is Wednesday. Thank you guys for coming on. Sasha, Sean, I know we brought you on early because there is a lot to talk about today and a lot going on in the industry. So let's introduce you guys real quick. Sean, CMM, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so my name's Sean Bahinsky. I'm the president of CMM. We're located in South Bend. Most people know about us. We make machines that route vinyl aluminum fencing. Been around over 25 years and looking forward to being on the show.
Yeah. So you actually, I know we've talked to you, lots of times before. You've been at a couple of our shows and stuff too. So it's always really cool to see you there. So you actually have probably, there's really only a couple main manufacturers of these machines in our country. And you probably are quickly, if you haven't already, became one of the main machines going in around the country right now, right?
Yeah, so we really only have one competitor, and our owner actually used to own that company also. And then there's a European company that's kind of entering the industry slowly, but we'll probably talk about them later on.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on. I know it's something we've been talking about for a while, and I know I just saw you a week or so ago in person, and we'll get into that in a minute. But awesome. Thanks again. So if you don't know who Sasha is, let's hear from Sasha. What's going on, man?
Oh, mate, it's a balmy Wednesday in California. So those of you that don't know, yes, I have an accent. It's very deep south. But yeah, work for Line Fencing Steel Supply. And we love fence, and our specialty is iron and temp fencing is really what we specialize in.
Nice. So are you at the fence show right now? Is that what I see behind you?
Yeah, I've been there the whole since September. I haven't left, mate. See the boxes in the background? Yeah.
You're just claiming your spot early? I don't know. It's like a new iPhone coming out. You just said, screw it, I'm just going to wait.
Yep. All right. My family's a bit disappointed, but I'm still here. It's all good.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a bill here in a minute for not letting the space up. So I think I need to come and see you, get you out of there. Yeah. So what's been going on this week? You broke up a little bit. Hey, so what's been going on this week? Anything exciting? You just been busy working?
For me, yeah, it's been a great, the industry sort of on our end from a supply side has had that little bit of a spike, coming into that, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, everyone's trying to wrap things up. And so it's been a really busy, probably the last 3 weeks. And then, of course, we're leading up to, again, as an Aussie, but you're leading up to my second time being involved in an election, right? So, or third actually. So, it's an interesting time, right? The climate's very interesting in the business world, especially in California. It's been a crazy. This election year, it's made everything crazy. It's made the shows, the business, everything right down to the installation companies. We're all feeling it. We always feel an election year, but this year I think everybody's feeling it a little bit more even than the normal election year. And I don't know if because last election year we were going into a little stronger economy or something, but it's definitely affecting a lot of us in a bad way. So it's unfortunate that we're all feeling it, but so we feel your pain. Sean, you got anything exciting going on? Anything since I saw you over at the fence camp?
Yeah, so our Q4 and Q1 are really like our biggest 2 quarters because that's when most of the fencers are kind of getting out of their boom time and they're starting to A, have to spend tax dollars, and B, starting to get ready for next year. So now's the time they want the machines to start routing their vinyl aluminum for next year. So now basically from like October to March is like our boom time, which is awesome. So yeah, we're pretty excited.
Wow. So we're all going to come have a party at your house since we can't afford to have parties at ours. That is, right? So if anybody needs to borrow any money to get through the hard season, give Sean a call over at CMM.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. We're like opposite of the fencers.
But we're closing out October here, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I know the women of FWA were pretty strong on that, and a lot of stuff. It was really exciting to see all the pink and stuff that was going out there. So we do want to mention that again, know, this is probably our last podcast before the end of October, but that doesn't mean we all can't still, still tell people about it later on. So we don't want to end just in October. I know cancer's plays a big role in influencing our family, and Sasha, it's affected yours as well. And Sean, I know we've all felt it, at some point in our family. So let's all encourage anybody in our family. It's time for a checkup. Go out there and get the, I don't even know what they call it, mammograms or whatever they do on the women, and have that stuff checked out. And us men, if we're turning 50, go do your duty, get it over with. No pun intended.
I got 10 more years.
Do you?
You youngins. But yeah, just on a side note, like, Brian, I know you've personally gone through it. I've personally gone through it, not me, my wife, your wife. Yep. Please get yourself checked. I don't care how old you are. My wife got diagnosed at 33. We nearly lost her. So age is not, and I love what FWA women are doing. Go get yourself checked. It's just worth it,
Yeah. Finding out at stage 1 is the difference between it literally almost being curable, opposed to stage 4, where you're getting chemo and radiation for the rest of your life, and there's only a 20% chance of surviving at 5 years. So finding out even a year or two early is the difference between you living another 20, 30, 40 years or living maybe 5 years. So it's that big of a deal. And, we found out at age 30, my wife was feeling it. So it's a big deal. So everybody definitely get out there and promote that. CMM's got an event coming up, if I remember correctly. We talked about this at Fence Camp though. So tell us about that. What I know FWA and Fence Work Association, we're actually kind of become a big part of this event you got going for the vinyl industry. So tell us about how that came about, and we appreciate you bringing us in and what you're going to be doing at that.
So I'm pretty excited about this event. This is something we've been wanting to do for a while. And actually, I was down at Fence Camp with Brian and Sean and telling them about it. And they're like, man, we want to help. We want to partner with you. Yep. So it's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be a Friday and a Saturday, April 11th and 12th. So Friday is going to be mainly vinyl day. Homeland's already said they're going to sponsor all the vinyl for us. And Sean's going to, we're going to route the vinyl. Sean's going to demo how to build the fence with our vinyl, with our machines. We're going to have lunch on site, tours on site. And then we're going to go to a South Bend Cubs game. We have a big suite already reserved for 200 people, all you can eat, drink, fireworks after the game. And then the next day we're going to half a day. Saturday morning will be aluminum day, and then people can go about and enjoy their weekend. But it's going to be a family-friendly event. We're beyond pumped up to host it and have you guys help sponsor it.
And that's in Indiana. So what's the nearest airport? If somebody was looking to see what it's going to take to get there.
So the biggest one, South Bend, is a semi-regional hub. South Bend flies a lot of flights out of Florida, fly direct. Charlotte flies direct. Vegas flies direct. And then Midway in Chicago is like an hour and a half. So a lot of guys in like LA are probably going to come Midway, which will be really cool.
So you were saying that for aluminum and vinyl. So you're going to be doing some aluminum training as well, right on site.
Yep. So vinyl will be Friday, aluminum will be Saturday, and we're going to be rocking and rolling, man. We're jacked up.
So only 200 seats available. So what is that, like $10,000 each to come, or can they?
Completely free. You don't
know for free. Oh man, I feel like we might have lost it.
The rest is on us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. So that's even a better deal than the 10,000 I was getting ready to spend to come do it. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's Californian dollars. Yeah,
that's like that's some stuff they charge down in California where Sasha's from. You know, to pay for all the waste from the hamburgers and stuff that they're making.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Exactly.
So fence camp, man. How'd you like that?
I loved it. I mean, it was my first time ever. I actually went to college down in Evansville, so it's always great to go back to that city. But B, I mean, Sean, holy cow, talk about a host. He's an unreal host. You know, I mean, his wife's cooking us breakfast. You were there with me, and you know, and then to build a fence with 15 other guys was awesome. You know, I mean, just talk shop and talk about life and being a dad and being a brother and being just a man, you know, a husband with 15 other great guys. I mean, it was honestly, it was like refreshing for me. I mean, my wife even was like, you needed that. I was like, yeah, I did.
Yeah. Well, my fence life ain't just about fence. It's about gate operators and access controls and door controls and all that stuff as well. So bringing that up, Sash, I know I called you. I was coming down to California and I'm like, man, what are you doing? I'm going to be there and you need to be there with me. And you just showed up. We went to the WASA convention that they had in Temecula, and that was a blast, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. And, you know, thanks, Brian. And I think that's what's cool about this connection, because there's certain things you just don't know about. Like, you think you're in the fencing industry, but, you know, there's just things we don't know, you know, that is going on and around. So it was awesome to get the call. And I didn't want to meet with you. Thank you, JC Jury. You guys made my day, you know. Brian on the other hand. But it was an awesome show, right? It was good to see from my end. Yeah. And also something that now I can tell my clients, hey, guys, look, this is really geared towards things that you guys need, and you know, you've got direct access to amazing products and stuff in the industry that you don't really realize they sort of commingle with us, right? On a bigger scale too. Yeah, it was awesome. Like, I mean, venue was great. I didn't lose money, so I can't complain much. I won't tell my wife. You know, but no, it was awesome. They did a great job, and I felt like that. I like the intimacy, if I could say that, again, politically incorrect, but I felt that it was cool. It was like a nice show that you got to really spend time with vendors. You know, on a real one-on-one, like it was a real, it was a cool environment.
Yeah. I always like Wasa. I mean, you know, this was the first time I went to the one down there in California at the Pachanga Casino. It was like an India casino and stuff. And I appreciate you coming. You wouldn't think I get nervous at conventions and expos since I do one myself, but I do. I get nervous. So it was not, you know, even myself when I go to these things, because you walk in and it's like you go by yourself. You're like, well, it's going to be weird. Do I walk up? And, you know, when I'm not talking to people at the exhibitors, am I just going to be standing there on my phone looking weird? Like, you know, I got no one to talk to.
Sean, he just dumped me, man. Like, I was there. I was the one that was weirded out. He just dumped me, man. He just was like, I'm out. Like,
I need you to walk in with me, right? I need you guys to walk in with me. You gave me the confidence to go to the party, and then after a drink, I was ready to have a good time. But so it was fun, though. I was amazed at how connected the industries were, and a lot of those exhibitors were exhibiting at our show as well. You know, in Las Vegas, so it was a lot of crossovers. So and a lot of people don't know that Wasa is one of the one of the main inspirations behind what a lot of the stuff I did with the trade shows and stuff. So definitely loved what they were doing. And I think the next thing you know, 3 hours went by and I don't feel like there was ever really kind of a slow moment when we weren't chatting with people and meeting new people. So that was cool. So thanks again for coming on that. I know your wife kind of made you hang out with me that night. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. We won't say on a live podcast why she said that, but yes, I was glad. It was good.
Yeah.
And yes, and I watched JC Jury's comments. I did lose my cell phone for about an hour there somewhere. Yes, I panicked for an hour. And Mary saved my life, yes.
And then we went to that steakhouse, man. That steakhouse was a nice steakhouse, but man, how hard was it to get a drink? That was insane, wasn't it?
How hard was it to get food? It was like yeah.
So just because Sean King, I know Sean's here, but just because Sean King isn't here doesn't mean that there is not time for
What would Brian and Sean say?
it.
So we're going to do this in his honor. So who's this one first for? Let's see what it is. What's a good question to ask? Oh, this is going to be for you, Sash. What's a good question to ask about iron panels when trying out a new source or manufacturer?
That's a really good question, right? I'm going to be biased because I'm going to say lion, right? But no, I think service is the biggest, like, and information, right? And options, because you might be looking like you might be doing a bid, and let's say it's 5, whatever it is, and there's an option for a standard panel as well as a custom panel. So it's options. It's like I think a really good iron supplier should be able to walk you through multiple options and not just go, oh, we don't do that. Or, hey, can we do this? Could we do this rackable product? Hey, you want a 2-rail, don't have it in stock. How quick's it go? I think it's information about options. I feel if you're working with an iron company that will work with you, partner up on your projects and what you're bidding, you'll find you're going to win more jobs, right? Because you might have gone in there for this 5-foot 2-rail, but there's an option for a 5-foot rackable or a 5-foot 3-rail that's like, it's available, it's a better you know what I mean? So I feel that's what's going to define an iron guy, because I feel, and Brian, you've been doing this a long time, same with you, Sean, fencing hasn't really changed a lot for 20 years. Like, yeah, there's innovation, you know, like your machine, Sean, but I mean, the industry as a whole hasn't changed that much. And I feel like the missing element is service. So a good iron supplier won't just go, no, or here's your price. Hey, can we go this route? Or, you know, hey, you want to use these 2-inch 16 gauge posts, but 14 gauge, you know, so I think it's options and that partnership of, it doesn't just have to be one thing, right? Like, there's options. So
and I think the definition of a supplier is changing as well. We're going to get into that probably in a little bit here too. It's definitely what we considered a traditional supplier 10 years ago is not the same today. You know, it's went from, you know, our distributors and stuff on a local level to, you know, the larger ones back, and maybe it's focusing back on your local distributors again. So it's gonna be interesting to see where that goes, but great answer. And I couldn't agree with you more. So what's the next question? What do we got? This one is Sean asking, who's this one going to be for? See, going through an issue I've never faced. I'm not sure if this is burnout, but I just feel like I've lost motivation, so to speak. We are a small company and the business is profitable. Just curious how some others face burnout and overcome it. Sean, that was going to be, I think, for you. I agree for me. I'm gonna take it if you don't mind.
Go for it.
But nonetheless, burnout's tough, man, in our industry, because we get, you know, I think that if you can be consistent in the beginning, you know, ambition sometimes will be it will be really overwhelming in the beginning. You'll get a real big spike, but if you're not consistent, you don't get yourself organized in the beginning, and you don't do a slower pace. And I'm guilty of that. I'm really guilty of going full guns out and without having it fully planned out. And then it typically will fizzle out at some point on some things because I didn't plan it out and I didn't take small steps. You know what I mean? Instead of actually and keep it consistent, I went real big and then it ended up just fizzling out in the long run. So I think to keep yourself from burning out, you got to keep yourself engaged and maybe even expand, maybe hire. If you get tired in one department in your company, maybe you need to work on hiring somebody or training somebody to take over. And maybe it's not that you're burnt out. Maybe you've just reached mentally the max that you're willing to put into being a sales guy. And maybe you got to hire a salesperson and start doing material sales or start getting into gate operators or something. So I think the easiest way to face burnout is not necessarily just taking all your time off and saying, I need more time off. But I think it's trying to reinvent yourself, figure out how you can enjoy your company again. So you don't lose everything that you did build, because it's real easy to lose everything that you spent 5-10 years building by getting too distracted though, and then taking too much time off and losing control of your company and saying, I'm just going to let someone else run it. So great question. It says anonymous member. I wish there was a way to find out who that was. I think we should have a hotline for people to call in when they're feeling like that, and we can buy them a beer or a cigar. Oh, this is definitely.
This one's for me.
Okay,
there you go.
So Sean, I'll let you read the question and answer it since I stole the last two questions.
That's all right. What is the typical maintenance schedule for vinyl routing machines, and how long does
Oh,
about
I don't know if that broke up. That might have broke up for everybody else. So I'm
I
gonna
mean,
read
the
it.
life expectancy. Yeah.
Oh, Sean, I don't know if you can hear us. Your signal's going out. So I'm going to read the question for everybody, and hopefully we can get your answer on it. What is the typical maintenance schedule for vinyl routing machines, and how does maintenance impact long-term performance? I'm thinking about purchasing one.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. I don't know if you heard the question.
Yeah, I did. Yep. So typically our machines can last anywhere from 15 to 20 years. I mean, typically a maintenance schedule, they'll need some routine maintenance every 5 years or so. And it's very cost effective. So, I mean, the longevity on these things are, 15 years, and they'll pay for itself within the first 3 years. So as far as I go, it's a no-brainer. I'd talk more, or text me or email me or whatever. Feel free to do so.
Yeah, we'll have them text and email you because we can't hear you. So
Okay.
yeah, all right. So, but that being said, great question today. We got to applaud Susan for going out there and finding those questions and digging through fence industry only. So if you're curious about, those questions pop up all day, every day at Fence Industry Only over on Facebook. So definitely go in there and join that group. Let us know for some reason if you didn't get approved, because sometimes the system automatically, declines.
Yeah, I've been asking for like 6 months, man. What's going on, Susan? They just keep Xing me out.
Well, it's not. That's not really necessarily it. You've been blocked. So anyway, let's move on to another subject. Like on another group, basically, you've been blocked, right? Just add that to the list, right? So what we really wanted to talk about, though, Sasha, especially since you're here, and we're probably more closely tied together on the industry and how it's going with the materials and being purchased and things like that. Sean on the manufacturing side, but for equipment and things. So he's got, different issues with the industry and different things he likes about the industry. But let's talk about the future of the industry when it comes to distribution, manufacturing, and let's just say, as a whole, how do you feel about it right now? I mean, have you noticed there's definitely a change happening? I mean, I've noticed from the fence shows, there's a lot more European and Asian markets coming in. Definitely at all the shows, you're going to see a lot more of their panels. And I've been using import panels for 20 years. So already, and it's always been here, but now it's a lot more in your face and it's a lot more spreading around the country. So how do you think that's affecting the industry?
Oh, is this going to be PG rated or R rated in fencing? I don't know. So, look, that is a real hot topic. And I think in our industry, I think the industry as a whole is starting to go, hang on a minute, we need to discuss this, or we need to be part of it. People can complain all they want. And we don't have enough time to go through the list for this show, but there's a big change. And, we complain a lot in this industry about, there's this European company here, or there's this Asian company here. My question is, why are they here, right? We keep complaining, but we're not asking the why. This is just from the supply side, right?
Yep.
So I feel that they're here is because we as suppliers haven't been taking care of the industry as we should be. So to answer your question, Brian, I would love to buy nothing, but I would love to sell nothing but American products. 100% all day. I will always tell everyone the quality is up here. Yes. But what has happened over the years, we've allowed certain companies to take control of our industry and if I can backtrack, fencing is not that big an industry in the grand scheme of contracting, right? It's not as big as electrical, it's not as big as plumbing. So relatively speaking, we're a small industry, means we're more tight knit. But somehow along the line, we've allowed people to dictate where I buy, who I sell to, where I can purchase. And I'm sorry, if you're a fencing person and you got to go to Home Depot, and Home Depot knows if you're on this, that's no disrespect to you guys at all, but there are professionals that have to go there to purchase because we've told them, no, you fit in this category. I'll call it the sandpit of fencing. I don't know who created it, but no, you got to stay in this sandpit and you can go that. Hang on a minute. I'm in the greatest country in the world, and I'm sorry, it's built on capitalism, which is not a bad thing, guys. Like, I'm sorry, it's a good thing. But once you start to dictate where people can go, like, you've forgotten what this industry is all about. And I feel I don't think it's necessarily a good thing, but it's the way the industry is going. And you have to jump on board. Here's my line. If I can say this, Brian, please don't throw a dart in my head. You're either in or you're out.
Yeah.
So there's no in between anymore because I feel like people have had enough.
Yeah.
Like, people are just tired of going, well, hang on a minute, what? I can only buy here. And you go to a show and you go to the booth, you meet Sean, and he then says, oh, no, you can't buy from me. You got to go down to Joe. I'm like, then why are you promoting your stuff at the show, right? And we've allowed the Europeans and the Asian companies to come in who are selling to distributors, right? The model hasn't changed. They were selling to Lion and to Sean's to a point. But we've now, because we've just told them, oh, we're only going to buy X, and we're signing you an exclusivity, but, oh, you can only sell here and not over here. And we're going to give Joe Blow Fence 50% reduction while Joe Smith Fence has to pay 50%. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
It's got convoluted. So the shift for me, it's here, right? Yep. And where's it going to be? If you'd asked me this 8 months ago, Brian, and I mean, you've talked a little bit, like it's a little unraveling when you go look at our booth back there, and then across the road was Europe. Yeah. Across that side was China, and you know.
And you know what I find? Yeah, what I find interesting is we're a patriotic country. I mean, the United States. I mean, we love this country, and a lot of people live here. And we pride ourselves on buy American if you can, buy American if you can. And I mean, and we are a pretty conservative industry as a whole. So if you can't keep fence companies buying American products, what have we done wrong? I mean, you'd have to really screw the industry up or screw up your company if you can't get them to keep buying your American products in America in the conservative industry. So it makes me wonder what is causing this shift. What is causing people to stop being as loyal to American products? And if it's just price, then where did we drop the ball? I mean, did we stop with the service and the quality of our products, and did we stop competing on the service level, and then it came down to just price? What changed is what I guess what I'd like to find out. Sean, have you noticed anything on the manufacturing, on the equipment side as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think two things. One, a lot of our customers are telling us two things. One, they're trying to buy products from, American suppliers. And a lot of times they're a local mom and pop shop. He's working out of a beat down truck and he's trying to get going. And unfortunately, they're being told that they have to go through their competitor, their biggest competitor in the area, to buy the product. And I mean, that's not going to work. If you're my biggest competitor, Brian, and you're the beast in the city, and I'm starting up, I have to go through you to buy product. That's not going to work. I mean, you're going to charge me triple, and then you're going to get the job.
Right? Yeah.
Literally going to break my neck from nodding. Like, I'm literally going to break my neck. Yeah.
Well, so then their plan B, I'm being told, is they're looking at these like Asian and Chinese and European products, and they're turning yellow after 3 months, or they're a penny, to the dollar here. And they're breaking instantly. So I mean, some of these small dogs, I feel really bad for them. They're like up a creek without a paddle, and that's where I think
it's not just price. you think it's not just price, it's the fact that they have to go to these foreign sources because the domestic sources don't want to sell to them.
Correct.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's an even bigger problem.
And I couldn't agree more with Sean. Like, I am been in the distribution model for the last decade. That's exactly what's happened, like to the letter. And, you know, it's been unfortunate for my experience with Lion. We never wanted to go direct. It doesn't matter what the market says about Lion. The direct sale model wasn't what we really wanted to do, but we were pushed to do it. And out of the woodwork was all these clients going, wow, about time. But it's not that I don't want to push American products.
Right.
Like, where do I get them from, Sean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've got a great product, but when you're going to an everyday product like me, it's like, where do we go to get an American product that's affordable? You know what I mean? That I can sell to everyone competitively, but you turn up in that beat up F-150, and my first question to you is, I got this paper going, do you have a yard? Oh, nope. Do you have a fork? Oh, nope. Then you don't fit in our model, go to Home Depot. I'm like, no disrespect to Home Depot, right? Like, they've got a place, but it's like, that's not how we should be treating our professional.
Well, that's interesting. You know what's interesting about this, Sasha, is I did an interview, which I think is coming out not too long. I don't know if I can say it. If Susan's going to be like, why do you tell everybody everything? But I'm really bad at keeping. I am really bad. She's in the back going like this right now. She doesn't even know what I'm going to say. She doesn't even know what I'm going to say. She's doing this. You know what I mean? Right? You know? You guys can't see her, but she's just like, stop. She's got red lines going up there and stuff. You can see it. So, but nonetheless, I did an interview with Fencing Times, and we talked to them for a long time. And I don't even know about this direct sale model, whatever you want to call it. None of this stuff they've never even heard of over there in Europe. And this was a European magazine, and they just say, well, here's the deal. If we have a product, we're selling it. And this is not even, it's not even a subject that anybody discusses. So that being said, what do you think the problem is with the direct sale model? And by the way, let's explain what a direct sale model is. That would be manufacturers selling, they call it directly to the integrators or the dealers or the fence installers, right? Not directly to the homeowners or the end users, but directly to around the distributors, directly to the installers. So what scares everybody so much about it? If every other country in the world is doing it and nobody's complaining about it in those countries, what is scaring everybody in our industry to the point where we're judging people by who they're selling their equipment to? You know, what do you think that is? What do you think's scaring everybody on it?
Sean, do you want to answer that, or I'll never shut up on this topic?
Personally, I think that some of these companies have developed such a good relationship with some of the bigger players in the area that they're afraid to step on their feet. And because of that, they're afraid to sell to all these smaller potential up-and-coming companies. I mean, that's what I'm witnessing, right? Like that's just what I'm hearing from our customers is that, so-and-so down the road buys so much from this company that they won't sell to the other 6 of us that are within a 20-mile radius. So, I mean, I get the standpoint, and I get where they're coming from. Because eventually, that's they're stepping on other people's toes, and I get it. At the same time, that's preventing 6 other companies from having a chance to grow and develop a career and a living for themselves.
So
I'm gonna pull this back up. Matt Warner, if you don't know who Matt Warner is, a great guy. I mean, one of my favorites. Kind of like you, Sasha. I call you and talk for an hour. It's the same thing I could do with Matt. So, but nonetheless, he says it's because they don't like the direct sale model because eventually they'll sell direct to the consumers. It's already happening. What do you think of that, Sash? Since you're one of the manufacturers that sells to fence companies.
So let me answer that question with this statement. Who supplies the box stores?
Well,
last time I checked, the biggest suppliers of fencing in America supply to the box stores. So I agreed with that. And look, I was in our industry and I worked for, second, third largest distributor in all of America. And I don't have any problem with it. until this model changes, till you say no to supplying fence products to a fence person, that's where this model is wrong.
Yeah.
Up until then, it doesn't matter, right? Like we're just selling fence. I don't understand why this is so complicated.
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about the real elephant in the room. I am sorry, but if you're supplying the box store, you are going direct to the home owner. Don't kid yourself.
I think they're considering. Well, and by the way, I'm a big fan of the distributor because I think that the distributor helps. You know, if you get the quality distributors and you get them, you know, even on a local level distributors and stuff. I'm a big fan of the distributor. I mean, everybody knows that. I'm a big fan of distribution because without that, the small fence companies don't even have a shot because they can't buy a truckload of fence materials and all that stuff. Yep. So it's definitely needed. The
and no one's talking about price, Brian. Right. Like what we're talking about is service. You buy a truckload of product from line. And I'm going to be open, right? Let's be open if we can until Susan cuts me off and says you're out of here. But look, you buy like Brian, Las Vegas fence, right? You own Las Vegas fence. You buy bulk, yes, you're going to get. I'm not going to give the F-150 truck guy that turns up the same price as you. But it doesn't mean I can't service him.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to say to him, "Oh, sorry, sir, we don't service you because of X, Y, and Z." Right? So I'm sorry. It's not about price at all. It's never been about price.
Yeah.
But we're making this about. You cannot buy fence product or fence machinery from me. Go over there. Like I'm like, but no one's discussing price.
Yeah. And I can tell you, I mean, we need distribution, and we need and some manufacturers don't have a choice; they have to sell direct. It's because unless you get the top few distributors that distribute to the entire country, and you have a product as a manufacturer, you have no choice but to go direct. And that's only because you go to you say you have a new product and we went to a distributor. If they decide not to carry it, you have to sell it direct. So you and then are judged because of who you sell to. And I think this is where the problem is, not necessarily that the manufacturers are selling directly to the fence companies. It's because I think Matt over here, I got to go back and read those. I got something popping up, but
it says you're killing them.
It's because we stopped judging our companies by the service and the products and the quality of the product. We started judging them on who they're selling their products to. And I think that's where it kind of maybe went astray. And going back to what you said, in Las Vegas, obviously I've been selling fence and materials, by the way. In Las Vegas, material sales is 40 to 60% of our business at Las Vegas Fence, and it always has been. So, and I remember selling materials, and all of us local fence companies would sell to the smaller local companies. And that was just a chain that would happen as well. So there was a chain that went on between, and it flowed pretty nice, actually. You had the manufacturers that went to the when it was all respected in the right chain. When the manufacturers would sell to the distributors, and the distributors were more open to selling to everybody. There wasn't anybody being not sold to. And then they would sell to fence companies, and fence companies would then turn around even and sell to smaller fence companies in our area. And then I remember when Home Depot, I think it was Master Halco back then. It was a long time ago, back when it was before the people that own it now owned it. They were the very first ones, I believe, back then to start selling materials at the Home Depot locally. And we were all livid, man. We were pissed, right? Because now all of a sudden, all the homeowners were coming to us fence companies, and that material sales was a large amount of our overhead costs. That would cover our rent, maybe on our property, maybe pay for that girl that was answering the phone, and all of that. So then they started selling to all the Home Depots and stocking all the Home Depots, and that just started it. That opened up the gate for now everybody. As soon as they saw that this is a market to sell to, everybody, including the foreign companies with the iron panels and all that, started saying, well, we can start bidding on that. And then price even just went down further and further. And then it got to the point where literally, I think Lowe's or so merchants must provide to them now or something, right? Or something like that. They make deliveries because you see them on the trucks, the same trucks that deliver to us. It got to the point where even Chain Link in Las Vegas, I could buy it cheaper at Home Depot than I could get it from my distributor. And they say, well, because they buy in bulk. And I'm like, well, I get it, but we literally at some point we made a shift to where we actually give the best pricing to anybody as long as you're not a fence company. If you're an actual fence or a gate installer, you don't get the best price. They fight over, it feels like, I'm not saying it happens, feels like they're fighting over the general contractors, the big box stores, and anybody and everybody. And now they're bidding in Nevada the distributors are bidding directly to the state of Nevada on the contracts, and NDOT. They're chasing down all that because as times get a little rougher, they're bidding. So at what point is there a line that everybody says, okay, everybody's selling to everybody, and you can't be selling to everybody and then expect everybody else to respect the chain. So I think everybody, but as a whole. Yeah. So I don't know what's your opinion on that. Where do you think this is going to go? And I'm not saying, I hope nothing changes, to be honest, to a degree, you know what I mean? Because I like the model, how it works. Where do you think this is going to go if we stay on the path we're on in 5 or 10 years, if we don't change anything at all? Sash? I'm asking you to be on the fence side and the materials.
Yeah, look, so just so I can backtrack for 1 second to answer that question. No one's saying the distribution model should be gone. No one ever said that.
Yeah.
What we're saying is that there is a direct sale model that has come into our industry because of a need. So I come from a country that has, like Australia's not as big as America population. Yeah. Fencing's huge though. The biggest fence line in the world is in Australia, right? So fencing's a big industry. So I just come from a country, and my background, so everyone's clear on that, is I used to run a fence company. So I actually came from the install side. And we couldn't purchase stuff the same that a bigger company could, right? That's just normal, right? Yeah. No one's arguing with anyone on that. But we went for direct, like we looked to find and buy as much as we could. This is a small company. We ran 4 trucks, right? 3, actually 2 when I got there. So we weren't very big, right, when I got there. But we're always looking a way to buy something direct, right? That's just how it works in Australia and Europe. I'm sorry, that's facts. So coming over here from that model, okay, yes, I see, like it is, you have to have distribution. You got to, like, no one's ever going to argue that. But when you see, and I think Sean and Brian, you brought it up, when you see European companies and Asian companies coming into our industry, there's a reason they're here. Like they're not here because there's not a need. They're here because there's obviously a need for that,
Hey, super nice guy is on the call.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How did he Susan, did you send him a link? Is that what's going on?
Susan let me in. By the way, I got the mic. If anybody's looking for the mic, I have it.
Marissa, Matt's got the mic.
Woo!
Hold on a second. Hold on. You're in the fridge.
I saw your comments over there. I can't, you know what the problem is, Matt? I can't read all those that Susan pulls them up, so I don't even read them. So I saw that one you did. I'm like, how do I go back and find it?
Okay, so I apologize. I was trying to bounce back and forth and trying to email and get back in, and I was actually still working. And oh, hold on a second.
Can I get one word?
So,
woo!
So anybody that doesn't know who you are, real quick, because I know we all know who you are, and most of the people watching probably do. So, Sasha, everybody, it's Matt Warner. Everybody knows Matt Warner. From obviously from My Salesman. He's got in fact, he's got one of his signs up here, don't we? Oh man, I thought I had one of your netting. Empire. Look.
Oh, you do? How did you get that? I don't give that to anybody. Hey, so in all seriousness, here's the thing that has been bugging me about this distribution, and is it Sasha? What's your name?
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, you got that Minnesota accent, so I didn't know.
Yes, sir. Alabama. Yep.
Sounds like Minnesota, don't you know?
Yep.
Because it's time to get to work now. So I got the welding helmet on because Matt Warner's here.
No. Well, so here's the thing, guys. First and foremost, buying from your competitors locally is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's a great way to network with them. I sell to my local people around here all the time, and I'm always trying to help people out. And I'm always telling fence companies, hey, come on over. I've invited other fence companies. When Sean King comes here to train, I pay for the training. Yeah. And then I invite 7 or 8 more fence companies to come. Only 1 or 2 usually show up. So I'm saying, hey, let's get better together, because I really do believe in the philosophy, high tides raise all ships. I really do believe in that. And I believe in helping everybody. Matter of fact, anybody that ever calls me or says, hey, I'm struggling with my business or I'm struggling with this, the first thing I say is, one, I'm not a coach. I suck at coaching. But I will cheer for you and I will tell you what works for me. And then you go work for what's for you and make your own recipe.
Yep.
Am I getting back feed here or am I okay?
No, you sound good over here. We don't hear nothing.
You're good.
Good. So I tell them all the time, because you know what? A few fence companies helped share some ideas with me when I first got started. I started this thing in 2009. I didn't really start growing until I finally figured out that it's okay to ask other people for help. And all I did was sit and ask for help. But here's what I don't like. Right now, there's a major a major manufacturer in the Midwest. I'm not going to say who it is. They might be in Tulsa and they might be ginormous, but I'm not going to say who it is. And it really ticks me off because they are selling directly to the power companies. And then they expect me to give the warranty. And I tell them all the time, no, you call Kevin down at Stevens Pipe and Steel and you sell to them and then they will sell to me because I need them to help represent me in your product.
Yep.
They will go to bat for me because they buy way more than I do. And by the way, we buy quite a bit. I'm not saying we're ginormous, but we're a good sized company and we have the power to buy truckload stuff. But that's not where it is. It all balances out because the small guy has way less overhead.
Yep.
My overhead, I have 4 accountants. I have people that are in charge of safety. I have safety directors. I have way more overhead than the guy just starting out. And I tell them all the time, you're going to beat me on price. I have to try to sell our experience. I have to try to sell that we have longevity. I have to use other ammo. By the way, I used to beat the big guys on price when I first got started. And that was the ammo I had to use. We have to change your ammo. You have to constantly be improving your game and what you are and who you are. And you have to have an identity.
Yeah. Maybe it's all those Monday morning meetings. You just can't afford them no more. And it's
I think so.
Dude, don't be complaining to me about your overhead. Every time I see a picture, you got everybody just standing around. You know
why I love that?
Oh man, that's energy.
The better I make the better and the more effort I put into our people, because now we're in a different era. We're in a different stage of thing. And by the way, it is expensive to have 80, 90, 100 people in that meeting. Have you seen Peyton, our marketing director? She's been shooting out these great videos of stuff that we do. By the way, we've done 437 Monday morning meetings in a row because we're committed to making better humans.
Yeah. I haven't been invited to one.
You are all invited. So get this, Scene. If you want to come, here's what, and you can ask anybody. I've had lots of fence companies that have come. If you get here, I will pay for your room and board. I will feed you a steak dinner. I will not overcook your steak. And I will give you a tour of our facilities. And on Monday, I will dedicate the entire day to you. I will cut my entire day out because I do believe in giving back to this industry that has helped me put my kids through college. Well, my kids put themselves through college. My kid has helped us put a roof over our head and it's taken care of me. This industry has given me more than I ever deserved. And I owe the industry a big thank you. For that, you are all welcome to come join me anytime. And thanks for letting me on tonight, Susan. Brian wouldn't have done.
I have you blocked, so she must have went in and fixed it. I don't even know how that works. No,
here's why I get fired up about this, folks. If you don't buy from your distributors, we're going to lose them.
Yeah,
we don't want to go direct. You don't want to buy direct. I need a representative between. I need somebody that buys way more than I do to say, listen, you messed with my customer, don't do that again. And I'll tell you, I've called my distributors. I've called merchants. I've called them out and asked for their help, and they went to bat for me. They took good care of me. And we need to stop trying. By the way, I had that company in Tulsa try to sell to me direct and bypass my distributor. I know the game they're playing. They would have just marked it up a little bit and made the same margin that my distributor would have made. Instead, I said, no, you sell to my distributor and stop trying to sell.
I think it's a very interesting point of view. There's no doubt.
Wait, can I answer that though? Yeah. Let me just say, I experienced it firsthand. So I'm an ex-fencing installer on the supply side.
in
But
Minnesota.
when the big guys sign exclusivity deals and then tell you we're not going to buy no more, it creates a market that. So what do I do? So what do you do with that business? Do you just go, okay, we're just going to go and bet? So just hear me out, because you're right. You're 100%. No one's like, we need to support.
Love to hear that. Can you tell my wife that phrase?
Yeah, I try to tell my wife that all the time, and she won't listen to me at all. So, you know, and I don't know half the time if she understands what I'm saying too. So that's probably half of it, you know. So I agree 100%. The issue is, though, that's not how the market's working at the moment. It was how the market was working, but over the last few years. So, for example, Matt, it's been hard for Lion, right? I work for a big company, and I never wanted to leave the company. But when exclusivities are signed and then just go and throw it away, there's you're dealing with families that are trying to provide a lifestyle and a living, and then I know for a fact that service is the key, but at some point, you can't be gouging the whole industry. So if there's only 3 suppliers in the country, that means that there's limited chance that the little guy, not everyone else, but the little guy gets that opportunity. And you hit on the head. Yes, they have less overhead, 100%. So they should be fighting the battle on a different level. And I agree with you. But when the price is so different, it's hard to fight that. It's not easy for the small guy when you're starting the business to go and fight a battle that they're already lost at the very start, which is products, right? And I love this industry. Like you said, Matt, it's provided everything for my family, and there's nothing more I want to do than see this industry succeed with distribution, not without. The direct sale model is not a win-win model. It's not. But the countries in the world that have the model, they have it because they're smaller, right? It's a little different. The atmosphere is different. Lifestyle is different. But here in America, yeah, we don't want the distribution model to go away. But what do I do if I can't buy a product? So let's say I'm quoting the same exact product as you, but you are getting it for 50% less. That's ridiculous.
Oh, stop. Okay, I let you go for a long time, but that's just ludicrous. Nobody's buying 50% less on the material.
Oh, no, it's not ludicrous.
Nobody. Don't even tell me there. If you're selling to the big guys for 50% less, shame on you, because you'll make more money by selling to more smaller contractors than that one big one that you're scared to lose. If you would toughen up a little bit and say, you know what, we're not going to seal the deal with that big guy. We're gonna sell to more little guys at a higher margin, so we can actually be profitable, and so we can actually, because if you're not making any money on that big guy, then that means you're making it all on the little guy's back, and that's not nice. So here's the deal. I'm going to tell you right now, I have a distribution for our sports construction, and I've made a promise to all my friends in the industry that I will not sell to Empire for any different price than I will sell to you. And you know what? I hope my honesty and integrity in the industry shows that. But people say, but Matt, you beat me. And I always say, I beat you because I'm more efficient than you. If you come to me, I will teach you how to be more competitive, because I can't do all the jobs anyhow. So I need you in the industry. And I just did this with Cannon. I just did this with Shane Canton. I just did this with all these other guys. There's a few out there, a few of the old stubborn ones. There's one in Missouri, and he says, Matt, I'll never buy from you. And we used to be friends, I thought. Yeah. But he won't buy from me because he says I can't beat Empire. And I keep telling him it's not the price, it's the efficiency. It's not the price of the material. I've said this, and if you ever follow anything I say online, I've said we all pay people about the same. We all pay for material about the same, especially us guys that are in the middle, because I'm not the biggest and I'm not the smallest. I'm in the middle. We all pay it. Where you win is by efficiency. And this is where I tell people, whether you like Sean King or not, that guy is training people how to be more efficient and how to have a repeatable process. And that's why he will always go down as a Hall of Famer in my book in this industry.
Amen, brother.
So you know what, Matt? So while we're on that, what do you think of this?
Everybody needs to stop saying that it's the price of the material. You buy high quality material and sell the best and take the best care, because the fence industry is known for selling shoddy stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
All right.
But start selling better products. That's why I love this pounded post with the Master Halco post, because it's 100-mile-an-hour wind loads. I love where we're going in the industry right now, because we're selling the homeowners a better product.
That's why you love CMM machines, because it's a great product.
And I have one.
So what do you think of this, Robert Evers? We got this new Facebook Marketplace model that's going to be happening here, where everybody's going to be buying through Facebook Marketplace. I mean, what do you think that's going to do to the market?
Stop it.
But you know what? I agree, Matt, to a degree. But you might be even you, me, and some of us are on a different level. But it was, but sometimes there is a large difference, and I think where the industry is going right now. But if we don't get a hold of it and we don't start focusing on where the industry is going to be, it's going to be a whole nother story, because we may like that we can innovate right now. You may, that Sean King's coming up with different ways to drive posts, and other people are, and they're driving concrete nails through posts, and they're doing whatever they want around the country, right? But if you get to a highly regulated state, which, by the way, I happen to be living in the most highly regulated state in the country, you will eventually, if you don't stop even some of the manufacturers and some of the suppliers and everybody that's getting behind all the consumer protection groups and all the government, and they're supporting them instead of the fence industry. If you don't stop all of this regulations and you don't control it and have this controlled by people that are dealing with it on a daily basis, you're going to end up not being able to drive a post. Did you know?
You're right, Brian, but that's a different topic. That's not what we're talking about. You're right. The manufacturers be working with the fence companies and not trying to get more regulation. You're right. I'm all for. I hate.
As a whole, we need to be working on standards, but these standards need to be voluntary.
More time on that and less time on trying to give a 50% discount to the big guy, which I don't think really happens. Unless it happens for you.
But Matt, it happens, man. I'm in the industry, buddy. I do supply, and I have been for 12 years. It's what happens. Like, I'm not saying anything because I'm not. It's rubbish. I work for the second biggest company in America, and line is not like we're not trying to. There is a disconnect, and that's what we're talking about. It's a disconnect. It's not. Yeah. It's not whether it's right or wrong. There is a disconnect. That's all. And
there's products.
We're trying to bring that disconnect back. Yeah. Like, no one's gonna. I was in the industry. I know that's what's going on, and it's just like we need to just bring it back. We need to remember that this is about the fencing community, not about any of this other stuff. And that's what I'm passionate about. Is this big disconnect?
It's more than this 5 or 10% because you buy in bulk. And I can tell you this, I've seen it, I've experienced it, in Las Vegas. We're like on an island. It might as well be Hawaii. So, it's not like we can go 45 minutes and find another 1 million people, 2 million and more suppliers. We're stuck with who comes in here. But what happens is you get, say you're a manufacturer, and say we all get together and we create a product, and we go and we get architects to spec it out, and then a GC, puts it out to bid, right? And us as a small fence company, we should have an opportunity to bid that project and bid it competitively. And then it should come down to efficiency. It should come down to, I tell people all the time, if the difference between you winning a job or losing a job or making money on the profit or not was a couple $100s on a gate operator or a little bit on material, then you bid it too low to begin with, right? So that the material shouldn't be a factor really in whether you get the job or not. It should have been your overhead and how efficient you were and what you're able to do. So that should be the factor in whether you get a job or not. But if you spec out a project and you as a manufacturer get architects and stuff to spec it out, put it in the plans, the GC says, I want to bid for it. You call up the manufacturer and they say, well, I can't sell it to you. Now, keep in mind, you may not have bought the product before, right? You just call up and they, well, I can't sell it to you. You got to go through this distributor. Distributor says, well, we already have someone that, and I'm not saying this happens on an every time basis, but it happens enough to where they may not want to, they have to sign up, they have to create an account before they even give you a price. And that might take a week or two. You're going to miss your bid date. You know what I mean? And you might not be able to bid the project in the beginning, or they'll say, we can't sell to you and set an account up at all. This happens more than you think across the board. Then you basically decided who's going to get that job or not. You don't have to raise your hand. Yeah.
I don't think you're exactly accurate in that. So most of the Master Halcos, the Stevens Pipe and Steel, and all them, they sell directly to the fence company. They're loyal to us fence guys. By the way, if I ever see one of them selling directly to a general contractor, I call them up and say, that's bullshit. You should not be selling to them.
Come to Nevada. Come to Nevada. I mean, they're bidding.
What we have to do then is we have to go to the mountaintop. That, Brian, that's your number one job. Free press is to go out there and call them out there, because there is netting suppliers out there that are selling directly to the consumer. That's why I started my own manufacturing, because
it's happening.
Only sell to a fence company.
Matt, you're going to have to take the red pill here, and eventually you're going to see stuff that you're not going to be able to unsee, because I'm telling you right now, it's happening. The distributors that are supposed to be, and I'm not, keep in mind, I buy from all the distributors, but I'm telling you right now, they're bidding to the GCs, and because I know, because the GCs, we see the quotes too. So they're bidding directly to F1 that's being done in town locally, on the right here, the people that we would normally sell the temporary panels to and all this stuff as a fence guy, right? I mean, as a person that's doing it. So it's happening right now in Nevada. They're bidding directly to the state of Nevada, to the Nevada Department of Transportation, all the GCs.
That's the manufacturers, though, not the distributors.
Well, no, the distributors are chasing it, and they're making direct bids to the GCs.
Send me an email on which distributors are doing, because I personally want to call all those CFOs and CEOs and tell them to stop it.
It's okay. I mean, like I said, I'm not here to call any one specific out. We're hoping that stuff changes, but I'll have another conversation with you. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah, but it's our job. It's our job as people in the industry that have a voice to say, stop it.
Yeah.
If you do it again, we're going to put together. We're going to rally the troops, and we're not going to buy from you anymore. And then the power is in the people. That's the problem. Is that we go to the government and we go to the manufacturers to solve the problems. We need to solve it ourselves and say, listen, we are going to take a stand and we're going to stop buying it. So I'm not going to take the red pill. I'm going to say, tell me who's doing it, and I'm going to be proactive, and I'm going to call them. I'm going to send them an email. So I told Stevens Pipe and Steel, if you sell direct, I won't buy from you anymore. That will put a hurt on them.
Yeah. And again, I'm a fan of the distributor model. I'm also a fan of just being able to buy materials if you need to.
But Brian, that's why we're having this discussion, right? This is not an easy discussion because it's hard, right? And just like Matt's saying, we're to shout it from the mountaintop. And as a distributor that's been in the big boys, like it's what's going on. And we need to fight that, right? And that's why this direct sale model, or whatever we want to call it, which is I don't think it's healthy, but it's here because of this. It's when you can't deny what's going on. There's this big shifting and shaking, and you're right. Like, I'm with Matt. Like, yes, we should be saying something, but I was with them, and that's what's going on. That's exactly what's happening,
Sasha,
and we need to. Yeah.
Do you think, and I don't mean to interrupt, but since you obviously you have a branch in Texas and you've got one over in California, right? When it comes down to Lions fencing, so do you feel that because the West Coast maybe has more import materials that we feel it first? Like, we see this in on the West Coast a little bit more. Because we've had import, we pretty much have installed nothing but import panels in Las Vegas for 30 years, right? So do you think that since we are on such a close connection to the import market, that it affects us quicker when all of a sudden the direct sale model hits, because that's who we're buying their stuff already. We're just going through distributors, and now they're coming in here.
Sasha, let's just go ahead and tell Brian that you and I got together before the show and said, let's finally bring some value to the Fence Life show. Sasha called me and said, hey, Matt, I'm gonna push your buttons. And Sean said, hey, can I be a part of it? We all got together, and we got you, Brian.
Oh, man.
You finally had a good show.
Did I just get punked?
You just got punked.
Where's Ashton's picture? Is he over here somewhere?
He's under the table, bro. Yeah. Look, this topic, I don't care who you are. My question is, why am I working at Lion? Like, it's to me, it's not rocket science, right? I tell everyone I'm just a dumb fencing guy. Yeah. But there's a reason that I went and did and worked with Lion and did what we did. We had no choice. And that's the reason that we're in this dilemma, because we need to have a voice. Everybody needs to voice their opinions, and we need to, it's going to get a little rough, and but I'm with you, Matt. Like, I'm sorry, You've got insider stuff. I have insider, and it's time to voice it, because if we want this industry to continue in its good place, and I'm with you, but unfortunately, Line is a perfect example of we had no choice. The big boys told us, go over there in that sandpit. We're done with this exclusivity that we signed. Like, that's the truth, right? And we just have to go bankrupt, and then what do I do with my family, right? So it's not as, this whole model it's all getting disrupted because there's these things that have been going on, and Brian, me and you have talked about it. We know that there's this sort of inner clique, and Sean, from the manufacturing department, like, I can be straight. Like, we want to be straight. Let's be straight. We use a certain company instead of you, and I liked your product better than that company. But we were told we had no choice. So when you're telling people don't have choices, come on, this is America. This is a land of the free. And I feel like we're finally starting to voice it. Like you said, Matt, shout it from the mountaintop. I'm in. I'm not saying that what I've done is perfect or what Sean, but it's time we voice it, because the facts are the facts. I love seeing CMM's product, but we weren't allowed to use it. So when you're telling me you're not allowed to do something in America, that's not good. And I feel like that's what's going on right now. It's not a bad thing, but we're talking it, we're voicing it, we're passionate about it. Obviously, look at the four of us, man. I think you want to come through the screen and knock me out, right? No. We love our industry.
I was just trying to bring a different opinion. Brian's trying to be nice, and sometimes he gets a little soft. And I got to get him fired up a little bit. Well, here I'm going to leave on this note, because I went to work at like 3:30 this morning, so I'm starting to get a little sleepy. But I did want to come in, and by the way, I think this dialogue helps our industry when we can talk through it. And I've been telling young fence guys, hey, don't buy direct. Don't try to buy direct. Just focus on a really good relationship. Pay all your bills. Have a great relationship. Make sure when you collect your deposits that you're paying your distributors for your material. You're getting jobs in on time, and focus on you. And don't focus on, because if you focus on somebody else's grass, you don't know what's underneath that grass. It could be a septic tank. So be very good about focusing on your own yard and your own grass, and don't try to be too fancy or too big. Just go out there and get your systems down, and be diligent about showing up for work every single day, and work your butt off, and build revenue. And I tell this to everybody I talk to, build revenue. Just chase that thing, and you have to grind it. And by the way, what we do, extremely tough. I'm grinding it right now. We had a division that failed, and that wasn't doing very good. And it wasn't because of one person. It was because me. I didn't notice what was going on. My people needed help. With that being said, I'm going to let you all go. I love it, Brian. Keep up the dog. Sasha, I would love to visit with you sometime. By the way, don't take it personally. I'm just being honest, and maybe I shouldn't have got in. And I got
no, Matt. I was excited you came on. All kidding aside, so I appreciate it.
Matt, I'm going to come visit you. I want a steak and a bourbon. I'm coming to see you, dude.
Oh my God! So we have this brand new bourbon that's made with Beck's corn, the same kind of corn hybrid that we plant on my little farm. I got about 300 acres. I do farming as a hobby on the side, and it is really good. So Sean, come and have a bourbon with me and eat a steak. And Brian, come and I'll overcook one steak for you. The only steak I ever cooked.
It's not overcooked. It's called
you're
full,
invited.
it's called
Everybody's invited to Nebraska. You're invited, and you're invited, and you're invited.
We're gonna take you up on it. Hey, thanks, Matt. Wow, you guys got some energy.
The only thing I was going to say is I agree with Matt 100%. I think it's wrong, and I don't agree with it. But I have 6 buddies I could name that are personally going through this, where they're being told they cannot buy from a certain company, and they have to buy from one of the other companies. So I agree. I think it's wrong. I think it's shady. Braden agrees. But it's the truth, right? Like, that's what's happening, and it's not right, but it is
and
what
I think,
it is.
Sean, I think it's not about who's wrong and right. It's about sharing the truth. So as a community, we can get it out and work it out, whether it's, whatever it is, but we got to get it out. And I feel like that's the issue. We want to we want to say something, but the truth is this. Like, there's truth, and information. My opinion is, once you're informed, it's over. Like, now it's your choice whether you agree or not. Yeah. That's not the point, but you're informed, and I think that's what's exciting.
Yeah. So I do want to thank you guys for coming on too. And I want to close it out with the fact that, while we did go in a bunch of different directions on this thing, I don't want anybody to think that, we're opposed to distributors or manufacturers or any one particular person. And, there's a place for everything. And if we can get to a place where the distributors are doing what they're obligated to do to the industry, and what manufacturers are doing what they're obligated to do to the industry, and what us fence companies and everybody, we have a responsibility to each other and to, in a way, to the consumers and, us to our members and stuff as an association. But if we don't get that back on track, we will lose that, like what Matt said, we will lose that segment of it. It will end up turning into a direct sale model completely. And there is a benefit to some distribution, on certain items and things like that as well, where to follow up on what he said, if you buy something, sometimes I tell people all the time, well, you may get a better deal through distribution. And if there's a problem, they'll help with the RMAs. They'll help with, issues like that with dealing with the manufacturer, and they may be able to get something to you a lot quicker, things like that. And if there's a stocking distributor and it's a product you can go pick up, without them, you may not have access to that kind of stuff. So the small fence companies do depend heavily on those distributors when they first start out. So we need them. And the only way we can protect them is to make sure they stay like everybody wants us to stay in our lane, to make sure they stay in their lane as well. And but we have to support them if we're going to ask them to stay in their lane. So it's a team effort all the way across the board. So thank you guys for coming on. If you had any last thing you guys wanted to add, I really appreciate it. You guys have been huge support on this podcast.
I just wanted to say thanks for having me, man. I know when we talked in Evansville, dude, I really appreciated you. I've only been in the industry for 15 months, but every time I'm around you, I just feel like I learn more. I become a better person, and really appreciate everything you, Susan, the FWA has done for me, CMM, and looking forward to the future.
Cool. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we feel the same way. There's no doubt. Yeah. Sash, any last words? I mean, we won't understand what you're saying anyway, so you might as well say it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. So, hey, shout out to FWA women, what they're doing. FWA ladies, keep it up. It's impressive. Don't stop. FWA, don't stop. Like, this discussion needs to keep going.
Yep.
It's going to get heated. Who cares? Like, we just need to talk about it. And that's what's so exciting about the future of this industry. It's changing, but we need to talk. We just need to get it out there. And there's a lot of great people, great distribution companies. And we just need to support it, and we need to stop fighting and start talking. Like, just let it go. And support each other.
Yeah. So great. I couldn't agree more. Thank you guys. And we will see you, everybody that was watching this. If you're watching this live, thanks for coming live. If you're watching this in the future, thanks for taking the time to watch it. I know taking an hour out of your day is a big deal. So hopefully you fast forwarded through everything else, unless you saw my lips moving. But we will talk to you guys later. Thanks again.
All right. See you guys.
See ya. All right. Bye.
Sasha, nice meeting you, man.
Nice to meet you.